Hi, Jack Jackson here, Manufacturers Daily, still on vacation, and I just want to get you up to the date with the latest news from last week. In March of 2026, the U.S. in its annual National Trade Estimate Report, a formal list of every trade irritant the U.S. has with Canada was listed. It's the closest thing we have to a negotiating agenda, as the U.S. has made it public. And Prime Minister Carney said the U.S. has roughly 30 technical issues with Canada. Here's what's actually on the list, the one that and which ones directly affect Canada's manufacturers. So, provincial rules on alcohol, LCBO, the system banning it, the Quebec's SAQ are listed. The Online Supply Streaming Online News Act, everything, digital supply management and dairy, digital services, all that, but that doesn't affect Canadian manufacturers in it, truly. The trilateral irritants applied to both Canada and Mexico. Chinese investment and supply chain exposure in Canada is really at the top of the list, and that's what really affects manufacturers. For where does your steel and your aluminum come from? The U.S. wants rules to prevent these Chinese goods from flowing from Canada or Mexico across their border. So we're dealing with that right now with a manufacturer of aluminum coming from the States, but we need to find out where it was smelted, because they're getting hit with a tariff bringing it into Canada to manufacture it into a Canadian good and install it. But until we find out where that aluminum was smelted, they're getting hit with a 25% tariff. And that's going to change July 1st. Instead of being 25% of aluminum content, it's going to be 25% of overall pricing. So those are the types of things that affect manufacturing. But the U.S. is protectionist against Chinese products arriving under the mask of Canadian-made, even U.S.-made. So, sourcing from offshore suppliers, the Chinese supply chain exposure is directly relevant here. And if your inputs are from Chinese origin content, even processed through a Canadian operation, the U.S. is looking at it. You need to get your paperwork complete. Canada repealed the digital services tax. These are things that don't affect us day to day, but it's part of the negotiation and the broader picture of everything that needs to happen. But for us, the irritant is the negotiating roadmap. If you're a manufacturer and your products touch any of the files of automotive, dairy processing, digital services, or offshore components, which most, unfortunately, my company was hit with offshore aluminum. We had no idea. Tariffs continued to pile up. We had no idea our aluminum was coming from China. But that's what you need to figure out. That's the biggest issue. Is your steel or aluminum coming from China? And there's some other countries that will be bizarre that we've found out that actually China goes through them and then gets it to us and tries to mask themselves. So we need to get to... we need to expose all that right now in your system, if that's what's happening to you, so that we can help you make sure you navigate this and have the proper documentation at the border, or you'll be hit with the most expensive rate if you can't prove which rate or which country it came from. So give us a call, 30 minutes, free discussion. Let's look at what you got. Let's see what we can do to help you. I'm Jack Jackson, Manufacturers Daily. Still on vacation, trying to wrap this up. Countdown towards the July 1st CUSMA announcement. Anyways, I hope you have a great day, and I'll be back soon. Talk to you later.